every community in this country has a list of prolific offenders. And that list of prolific offenders are responsible for committing 80% of all the crimes in this country every single year. Let that sink in. 15 to 20% of the criminal population being responsible for 80% of all the crimes. So you may ask yourself, what about the rest, right? The rest are regular Canadians who made the wrong decision, found themselves caught up in a set of circumstances, were led away by their peers into committing an act, made a mistake. They go through the system, and the system is designed to scare the crap out of you. It's intimidating. It's lengthy. It's costly. It's embarrassing. It may result in a loss of relationships. It may result in a loss of your employment. It's all designed to teach us a lesson. And that lesson is don't repeat it. So 80% of the population who find themselves in trouble go through the system. The system teaches them that lesson. And you don't see them again. Now there are exceptions to that. But as a general rule, you don't see them. So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about tonight those repeat offenders who know how to exploit a weak justice system, made even weaker by bad Liberal policy and bad Liberal legislation. And the first piece of bad legislation, came in 2019. So what 29 ushered in was a concept known as the principle of restraint. Has anyone ever heard of that? The principle of restraint? I see a gentleman in the front row acknowledging that. Justin Trudeau sent a message to every single judge and justice of the peace who hears bail applications. People understand what bail means? You get charged, you get released. That's bail. We have a presumption of innocence until proven otherwise. Okay? That's the whole concept behind bail. Justin Trudeau said to those judges who hear bail applications, he said, you judges must, he used that language, must release the accused at the earliest opportunity on the least restrictive conditions. And what that telegraphed to our judiciary is that it didn't matter what offense the person committed. It didn't matter about the impact that that offense had on your community here in Dauphin. It didn't matter what that offense had or impacted the victim here in Dauphin. It didn't matter what the person's criminal record showed. That criminal record may show a pattern of committing the same offense over and over and over again. It didn't matter how many criminal convictions of breaching court orders were on that criminal record. It didn't matter. And lastly, it didn't matter how many previous bail orders that were still current were still on the books. When I was a Crown, I had one guy who wasn't resident in Ontario, wasn't resident in my city, originated from British Columbia, and by the time he committed offenses in my jurisdiction, had picked up 10 prior bail releases. Brantford released him as release number 11. Okay? Because of the principle of restraint. Now, our Criminal Code of Canada already had the tools available to Crowns like me to make an argument to ensure that the protection of the public was paramount. And that's the ultimate goal of the bail system, is to assess risk. Is there a risk that this offender will go out, terrorize the community again, terrorize the victim, or commit further offenses, or breaching court orders? If that risk is real, and the criminal record that shows a pattern clearly shows a risk that is real, that person should be detained. But Justin Trudeau gave these people an out. And I have been fighting since 2019 to try to undo that damage that that piece of legislation had done. Fast forward to 2026. Bill C-14. Anyone hear of Bill C-14? Yeah, few people. It's now law. I fought like hell, as did Dan, as did our entire party, to warn the government, please remove the principle of restraint for all the reasons I've just discussed to you. All the people who are constantly being recycled into the system, police arrest at 7 o'clock in the morning, these repeat offenders are out by 9 o'clock. Catch and release, rinse and repeat, happening in every jurisdiction in this country because of Bill 75 and the principle of restraint. The government had a choice. That choice was to ensure that repeat violent criminals could not take advantage of that principle of restraint. We tried to replace that with the principle of community safety first. When you were dealing with a repeat offender, the government voted it down. In fact, every single attempt, we had close to 35 amendments to Bill C-14 to make it stronger, to make it better, to make it more responsive, to make it better, to provide better protections for victims and communities, and it was shot down by the Liberal government. So when you hear Mark Carney talking about having pride in doing what he did and making this country safer, take that with a grain of salt, folks, because he had an opportunity to really strengthen this bill. But politics played a part. And when I said to you, this issue should not be partisan, they broke the number one rule by making it partisan. That's what 14 did. Then they decided